Haiti Biz News Show, Monday to Friday, bringing you news that's going to keep you informed, engaged, and reacting in the most optimal way for your business, investment, and entrepreneurial activity. Today is the 29th of July. Let's talk about it. We have a good episode lined up. It's because the Haiti Biz News Show, as someone with a background of economics, I like talking economic figures, right? That's, the whole basis of the show. There's no other place I can find online that has someone talking about real economic stats, right? And as it relates to you, the entrepreneur, you as the person trying to make things happen on the ground. So this episode is going to be about that. So I'm looking forward to it. Before we do, I want to shout out, Today Ain't Awesome. I want to shout out a real cool YouTuber who's doing a lot of different stuff, a lot of different countries, but about 2 years ago, he visited Haiti, a guy by the name of Mile 30, and he has this one particular episode where he spent a day living up in the mountains with the Haitian family. I know I'm talking about, as out in the boondocks as one can possibly be. He was out there doing that, and he filmed it. The guy's an incredible cinematographer, and really got some real good angles, real good footage, and I recommend, the link is below. I do highly recommend you guys go check that out, because again, we don't see that side of Haiti, right? We see usually folks in the city struggling, but it's a whole different lifestyle when you're out living in the farm and provinces of Haiti, and it's very a pure existence, and that was caught on camera. So if you guys haven't seen that episode yet, do check that out from Mile 30. Leave a comment on him, to send him some Seejeanty fan appreciation, right? Because again, it's all about, it's going to take a lot of us to change the perception of Haiti, and so wherever I can find talented social media-ists, YouTubers, it's all about highlighting their work, allowing you guys to see it, and push that work to change the narrative of Haiti from what it is to what it could be, right? So let's get into the episode for today. BIH, that's the Bank Republic d'Haïti. It's the central bank of Haiti. They're doing their job. They're providing commentary on the economic condition of the country, how the country is performing and how they see things, right? They are in charge of the monetary policy of the country, and it's their it's their role and their job to not only stay on top of things, but also modify the economy as much as they can per the instruments they have available to them. There's some real positives. I think we've had a few different episodes. Just last week we had an economic index episode from the Institute of Stats and Information, which is a subset of the Minister of Economics and Finance, who had some measures of economic performance of different sectors in the economy. If you haven't seen that episode, go check that episode out. Again, this is a little different. This is the central bank, and their analysis is more slightly higher level, and considerably much more macro in their analysis of how things have been performing in Haiti in the past fiscal quarter and how things are going to be. And there's some good positive news. One thing for sure, the trade deficit has shrunk. The trade deficit of Haiti has shrunk by 7.3%. And what does that mean? That means imports were down by 2.21% to $2.51 billion US, whereas exports were up by 15.7%. That's pretty incredible. It's a total of $561 million, right? And I think folks in the States who are just tracking, talks of economic status, the trade deficit is always a big thing that people talk about, especially when it comes to China for Americans, right? And as Haiti, folks who come here and follow here consistently, we know that we are a very import-dependent country, and the conversations we're having here on this channel are to support entrepreneurs, particularly those who have an idea and focus to bring the incredible talent, if it's people, through outsourcing, are their incredible capacity, physical, natural capacity through exporting our various many crops and things out to the larger economic market, right? And the more we can do that, the more the economy as a whole can grow, right? And the fact that we've had, for perhaps one of the first times, a decrease in that condition, that is truly the diamond in the rough news of the things that's been happening. And I can also tell you, as someone who is privy to having a growing network of entrepreneurs, business owners that I know here in Haiti, I can tell you, and it's between you and me now, guys, that there's a lot more talk amongst those with the levers of a lot of the business and capital in the country. A lot more talk about how do we get dollars, right? A lot of high up business people are generally, before things were fine, they're importing and making buku money, but there's I feel a genuine, more than just talk, there's a genuine call of action and organization happening around amongst the business elite here of how exactly can they get dollars, but and there's only one way really to export. And there's considerably more conversations around how do we shift, how do we start to export out some of the things we're doing in our infrastructure to get dollars. At least maybe it's not to totally reinvent what they're doing, but at least to help hedge some of their business activities in the country, right? And that alone also is a very big positive shift, a shift that I don't think conversations weren't really like this, as much as a year or 2 years ago. And all these conversations are happening because of the depreciating Haitian good, right? The depreciating Haitian good has really changed the incentives of a lot of people, because a lot of these guys, they're importing in dollars, selling in good. It's not a feasible business model given the very unpredictability and continual depreciating of the Haitian good. So that's just something to think about. And again, as always, if you're coming in to do business in the country, shipping doom to sell locally, it doesn't make sense, right? Think how you can ship dooms in the other direction, right? And truly win, right? Because when you have a depreciating good and you're buying things in a very low currency and then you sell them in a very strong currency, that alone ensures that you're going to have profit, minus whatever business acumen that you have. That alone guarantees you're going to win, right? So that's the good news, primarily, to talk about. And the others, we know the other information we know isn't so hot. Tax revenue has been down 16.4%. Because of their ongoing government strikes, because of the social political instability, and the depreciating good. All those things have really put downward pressures, and additionally, the fact that the government hasn't been ratified. We still have a prime minister. We still don't have a budget approved, right? So all these things have really disabled the government's capacity to function, the government's capacity to gain revenue, and thus operate. Government expenditures have been down by 5.5%, which is, again, troubling, because in an economy that is desperate for infrastructure, desperate for paying their administrators, paying school teachers, to have 5.5% decrease in expenditures, that's a real effect on the GDP, right? Because a big component of GDP growth is the expenditure of government. And 5.5% in a downward direction is not good, is not feasible in the medium and long term. And of course, the Haitian government is very dependent on external budgetary support, and the fact that they haven't been able to receive IMF assistance in their budget, because the IMF refuses to disperse any fund assistance until the government is ratified, is also putting incredible pressures on the government and their capacity to be inhibitors of government growth rather than what they've been consistently, which is blockers, right, of government growth. And of course, we have other situations. For example, tourism. Tourism still is trying to recover. Tourism has always been a very important source of foreign currency for the Haitian economy. And again, we're coming out to level 4, and it's going to be a slow crawl back to where the tourism sector was, right? And of course, there's been a drought. There's been a very nasty drought this spring, even worse than prior years' drought. And that's going to significantly affect agricultural yields, right? And that also is going to affect things domestically. There's been a lot of talk about famine happening this year. There's been increased food scarcity considerably in the country. Talks about potentially food riots happening. These are talks now. Things are predicted to be pretty tough, all related to a very difficult agricultural season. And so folks are keeping a very close eye on that. A lot of players are keeping an eye on that because that is untenable from a human rights perspective, right? But from the strictly economic perspective, things are because a big part of what we export is agriculture, right? And so that is something a lot of folks are keeping an eye on. And certainly there's action happening. If you've seen some of the other Haiti Biz episodes, there have been some real expenditures, real projects happening in the agricultural sector in Haiti, especially in the southern part where that was heavily affected by Hurricane Matthew. But is it enough? Probably not, right? So those are the bad, that's looking to affect the economy. And of course, wherever there's bad, I for me as an entrepreneur, as someone who is always thinking about how to make a buck, I hear where other people hear a problem, I hear an opportunity, right? I hear, okay, well, there's issues in the agricultural sector. This is probably when I should be trying to buy farms, right? Because folks are probably looking to sell, right? I hear, difficulties in tourism, and I hear, okay, this might be an opportunity to, potentially buy a hotel, right? If I'm an investor, high big dollar investor, because folks might be trying to get out, right? Because that's what do? You buy low and you sell high, right? So again, where other people are hearing problems and issues and difficulties, I'm hearing, okay, there's opportunity, right? There's opportunity, right? So I think that's where we're going to end this episode for today. All right, if you like what we're doing here, you already know, how we like to do things, right? I like to respond to comments. Our last episode with China had a lot of comments, and if you go back to that episode, you'll see I'm in every single thread, providing response, providing perspective. And so, do leave a comment. I will respond in some way or fashion. Hit that notification, hit that big red subscribe button if it's your first time here and you think this might be something you might be interested to keep watching. If you're on Facebook, hit that follow button. If you're on Twitter, hit that follow button as well, right? And of course, you should be seeing some stuff up top here, some Patreon, some Square Cash stuff. If you really want to put your support to the next level, hint, you already know what to do with that, all right? So we're here Monday through Friday. And so until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again.